Hello everyone and welcome to episode 48 of One Piece at a Time, the One Piece read-through podcast where we read and discuss 5 chapters of the One Piece manga each and every week. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host and freelance letterer at Shonen Jump, Brandon Bovia. How you doing, Brandon?
Hey, I thought this was a film podcast. You
No.
tell me One Piece was based on a comic?
Yeah, man.
What am I doing?
They'll adapt anything these days, my God.
Yeah, seriously. As everybody knows, I'm Brandon Bovia, English letterer of manga like Dragon Ball Super and Kaiju 8 and like a billion other things. Ready to get back into talking about the manga. It's been like a month or so for us, so it feels like a nice little return to form.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect us to be away for that. I mean, the holiday kind of delayed us a bit too with those releases. But man, to just be back in it and talking about this, especially... Damn, I forgot how good Jaya is.
Yeah, no, seriously, me too. I hadn't revisited it basically since my first time through, so I'm like, wow, there's a lot of really great stuff in here.
There's something about a certain post-arc chapters that just gets you, like where it's establishing its new status quo, that can get you so pumped. And we didn't really have that with the whole salvaging thing. It was just like, oh wow, what's this new thing going on, and we don't know what that's all about. But to have Luffy interact and this whole new island really sets up some great things.
Yeah, it definitely like it's that we talk about this all the time on this podcast, but it really like that sense of adventure that you get from like going to a new place for the first time and just seeing all sorts of different things happening and interacting with all sorts of different characters. It just sets the imagination on fire in a way that like no other manga quite does it for me. So like this is just like some good One Piece going on here.
Yeah, and we get some wild things from images to locations to characters. There is just every little facet you could want is in here. And man, we were saying this before we started, but what a what a turnaround from the movies. Like the movies were fun, no doubt. But to have this
is like
the storytelling,
is the core One Piece. Yeah, the quality of storytelling, and obviously like you can only do so much in a 50-minute movie, and so it's not something I really hold against them. But just like the stark contrast in quality, it's like, oh right, yeah, One Piece is awesome. I forgot about that.
Yeah, oh, I'm so down. So let's get to it with a full page spread and chapter 221, Monsters. Just kind of a cute cover right there with Usopp explaining his new alarm clock. It looks like it tosses you and conks you on the head.
Yeah,
which is funny because
it's got like a rocket.
Yeah, I just realized that the joke is that he's explaining an alarm clock to a bunch of people that are sleeping, even the penguin taking notes.
How does I don't even know how that works. You can see just a fun little bit. The kanji on Usopp's shoulder says is that Kojo, which is like engineer or what's the no? There's like a place where engineering takes place, and my brain is like,
oh, okay.
What is that word in English called? And it's just a factory. Kojo,
oh, factory. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. And so you can sort of see it on the bird too. You can sort of see like the US. So he probably is Usopp factory.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, kanji breaking my brain.
It happens. But yeah, it's just a fun little way to get back into it. And that's like, all right, everybody was eaten by a giant turtle.
Yes,
that's where we left off.
This chapter in particular was bonkers.
Oh my gosh.
There's so much that happens. And you're just like, oh right, the turtle.
And we got, of course, everybody freaking out about the turtle. They're like, oh, it's a dream. Oh, thank goodness.
Yes. And then this is, I think, maybe the beginning of one of my favorite running gags with Robin, where she's just like, they've been devoured, ship it all. And I was like, don't say it. Like, she just has like this blunt, dark sense of humor.
And she's looking at we get that size comparison of just how big this turtle is compared to everything. It's like, yep, looks like it. Hair oozes are hanging out of its mouth. And it's like, stop saying that.
Nami, as you see here on the next page, Nami has some great moments in this chapter too, where Usopp's just kind of blaming her, and she just says, "I'm sorry,"
and that's that. She doesn't do anything else. It's just, "I'm sorry."
Yeah,
it's enough. And then the fact that Robin was like, "Oh yeah, we're probably gonna get dragged under because we're connected to him because the hoses weren't cut." Like, no.
And then, of course, Nami first thing's just like, cut the hoses, save the ship.
Right. I love this comparison where Masira's crew is like, we have to get the boss. We got to save him no matter what.
Yeah.
Show him what the pirates are made of. And Usopp's like, right, that's our solidarity as well. And Nami's ready to like, all right, Usopp, cut the hoses, save the ship. Everybody's like, she's evil.
This is like it's been 5 chapters or 5 pages into this chapter. And I'm like, by this point in my read through, I'm already just like in stitches.
Oh, I'm loving it. It is so much
complete
fun.
chaos. Yeah.
And speaking of chaos, all of a sudden the sky goes completely dark.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, what's going on? I'm like scratching my head. It's like, I don't remember this at all. They're just like, what is happening? And that's when the Masira pirates are like, when it gets dark in the middle of the day, monsters are coming. We'll be sunk. Get the boss back up here quick and let's go.
Like, monsters, what?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Luffy's tossed on board, and Zoro and Sanji follow after, completely fine.
And then they're just like, well, Usopp's like, oh, thank goodness, we need to get away from that turtle. They're like, turtle, what are you talking about?
Yeah, there's a giant monkey that was friendly with Luffy, but as soon as he saw us pick up stuff from the ship, he went berserk and turned into gorilla. So it's like, oh, that's Masira.
I love the disparity of information that they're working with here. That's just amidst all of the chaos. Again, they're just like, turtle, what turtle?
They turn around, it's like, whoa, what's that? And then Masira jumps out of the water, because, my God, he's impressive, lands on the Mary, which just shows that patchwork job again. Like, oh, the poor Mary. We get to see that side of it. Oh.
Yeah. For a second, I thought that he broke it. It definitely looks like he's not helping. Like there's kind of chunks coming off when he lands. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's already kind of, worse for wear.
Yeah, not in great shape. And, of course, Nami's all happy. It's like, oh, you found treasure. He's like, yeah, lots. And they're ready to fight Masira, but it's like, oh yeah, the whole sky is dark, and they all turn around and freak out. Masira turns around, freaks out. The turtle looks up, freaks out,
and freaks out. Yeah, the turtle being freaked out is what got me.
We get these massive angels with spears darkened against the sky. We don't see the full forms. They just have wings and these simple spears, and they're like, they make the turtle look like a regular sized turtle.
The scale that has been going on here, but like just the Straw Hat ship, and then Masira's ship, and then the turtle, and then the angels. It's just like, Jesus.
That I don't think any manga. Granted, I've not read a ton, but I don't know of any other manga that just handles scale of this like size.
Yeah, he really sells it, and I think it's because as the reader, you kind of know everything else in context of everything else, because we've seen everything, and now that we've seen the 3 of them that are in the ocean, and then just like having these massive towering silhouettes, and not only these 3, you turn the page and there's actually like 5 of them.
Yeah,
and it's just.
And then we get a just hilarious thing where they all like get a hold of the oars on the Going Merry and book it, like just race this way as fast as they can.
Yeah, that's great.
And we just get reactions from this, like, this day's rough. Fallen galleon's bad enough. The needle was pointing up the sky. A weird monkey came. A giant turtle gobbled it up. It got dark. These super gigantic monsters showed up. And then Masira goes, yeah, that was really scary. And they're like, huh? Get lost. And they kick him off board.
I love that's where the chapter ends.
Yeah, that's it. That's how the chapter ends, is them kicking off Masira. It's like,
him.
Bye, Masira.
Again, this chapter was just insanity.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. And we even get a decent SPS. Somebody's asking, like, oh yeah, about the war in Alabasta. Originally said that there were 300,000 men in the Royal Army and 700,000 in the rebel forces. But in volume 20, Chaka says there were 2 million rebels, so where did the other 1.3 million come from? Are they people just like Toto, who didn't originally participate in the uprising but joined later? And yeah, that's what Oda confirms. Like, yep, that's it. Mm-hmm. To have a sense of scale that I couldn't put in the story, Alabasta has a population of 10 million. I left out a lot of details, and there was many towns and villages not shown, which we could actually see from the map. We never saw the entire island. He's like, yeah, this is a serious uprising. That's how upset people were.
I actually really appreciate that Oda didn't spend too much time going into the details about it. Like, you know just enough to
Yeah.
know that things are bad.
Anything more and you
it
get
didn't-
bogged down.
Yeah, exactly. So I respect that choice a whole lot.
So, yeah, let's see how that insanity gets followed up with chapter 222, The Giant Novice. And, all right, we had Hachi's whole story going on,
Yeah, I forgot about that bit too.
where we have one little hiccup where Hachi's ready to give his special takoyaki to Octopaco, and all of a sudden, an old catfish was like, "Oh, hey, I'm a little old and I forgot to actually get some food. So,
Aw.
would you mind giving me that last bit so I can be fed?"
Do the
with
right
my
thing,
friends?
Hachi.
Yeah,
That's
it's,
what this whole cover story's been about.
and I think at this point, with how Hachi's been acting, I think you kind of know where it's going to go. It's like, oh, so this is the inciting incident.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially because Hachi looks genuinely like, oh, this poor guy, and Octopaco's like sticking her tongue out, like, screw this old man.
Yeah.
So
It's just like, all right, pay up.
yep, it's poor Hachi. He's bad at love.
Just being pulled by opposing forces.
Exactly. But into the chapter itself, it's time to react to what exactly just happened.
Yeah. We need to calm down
Yeah.
after all that nonsense.
And I love these. This is the type of relationship between Usopp and Chopper that I like, because
Yeah, it's the big brother, little brother.
yeah, movie 3 was more like Usopp teasing Chopper and trying to scare him. This is him trying to impress him. This is
Yeah.
a kid that gets impressed by his lies. So of course he's going to say, you know something, Chopper, if we really tried, we could beat that thing. Really? Yeah, I brought down 10 of them at once all by myself. 10 of them?
Yeah, I feel like it is a really subtle difference, but it is it's one of those like little things where you can tell, like, you know, this is how Oda portrays these characters versus like maybe some of the anime writers, where they don't quite always get it in every context.
Right. And it reminds me of Usopp's relationship with the boys of Syrup Village.
Yeah.
That's how he treats Chopper, and that's perfect for them. Of course that's how he interacts with kids. But we see the treasure that Luffy and the others brought up, and Nami's not impressed. It's all junk to her.
Basically, yeah. You know, no information, no maps, no ship's log, none of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just stomping all over it.
And even Sanji's serious about it. It's like not trying to do his like lovey-dovey thing. It's like, no, somebody beat us to the ship and there was nothing of note. So she's like, all right, well, we're going to need more information. So if we're going up to the sky, whatever happened on that ship could happen to us. So we need all the information we can get. Something.
I mean, I feel like you can sort of glean just from like all of there's like stacks of plates and swords and, you know, like spears and weapons, and, you know, Luffy's walking around in a suit of armor with a broken sword. Mm-hmm. It's just like you can sort of glean, you know, like, I don't know what kind of like British Empire went up to try to colonialize the Sky Island.
It did not work out for them, and
It didn't work out for them.
I love that we're also establishing kind of Robin's relationship with Nami, where it's like,
Yes.
oh, well, she's just sort of a silent observer to a lot of the insanity here. And
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, you seem to be having a hard time. And she's like, it's not going to get any easier because this is a ship of fools, and now we have no idea where to go. And she's like, oh, here. She's like, it's a turtle pose that I stole from the ape ship. And she's like,
Robin.
yes,
The
Robin.
best.
So good. Like, I love how she gets, like, of course it makes sense. You don't even question it. It's like, oh yeah, Robin would do that.
Yeah, absolutely. It really, like, right off the bat, it's like, man, she is such a great addition to this crew.
She's like, and I love Nami. He's like, you're the only ally I have. It's like, man, you seem to put up with a lot. And then there's this whole visual gag is they found an octopus, and just that quickly they have the octopus balls for the entire
Sanji,
crew.
You just cooked it fast.
Yeah. I get this amazing interaction where Luffy's like, Jaya, are we going there? It's like, all right, full speed to Jaya. And he's just sort of screaming it out. And that's when Usopp realizes, like, wait a second. If we go to Jaya, won't the log post reset and we won't be able to go to the Sky Island anymore? He's like, wait a second, we're not going to Jaya. It's just this back and forth turnaround between Luffy's decision making.
I find it, I mean, Usopp kind of points it out and smacks Luffy on the head where, you know, he's like, you know, we're right back where we started. But this, like, I appreciate that we do have to kind of explain this again because we hadn't talked about the log poses in a while. So, you know, they're basically like, all right, we have to get to the Sky Island, but in order to do that, we need to go to Jaya to get information, but we need to make sure that the log pose doesn't reset, which is just like, it is a fun way to sort of kind of spell out the obvious, but I was a little bit like, okay, all right, yeah.
But it also shows that you're not going to be spending too much time on Jaya.
As
Well. So
and I don't blame the reader for being smarter than Luffy.
no, and the other thing is this is chapter 222. Young readers get in and start reading it, and they get to this part. It's like, oh, why do they have to? I can't that work, and they got to establish those rules. So it makes sense. That sort of thing. So they're on the way to Jaya, and the weather starts establishing itself, which is again just those little details like, oh yeah, we're close to an island if it's like this. And Chopper spots some seagulls that then drop dead out of the sky.
Like, whoa.
It's like, oh,
yeah,
okay. And Chopper immediately performs an autopsy and pulls out a bullet. It's like, yeah, this was a bullet that shot them down. It's like, oh, wait, I didn't hear any gunshots. And judging from the trajectory, from the way the bird was flying, the shooter straight ahead. So, we're under attack somehow. Like, it's like, that's impossible. There's no way it's going to go. And meanwhile, Luffy's just like, hey, we get to cook seagulls.
Yeah, I do love this bit of Usopp going like, what kind of sniper could shoot from all the way from that far away, and then just next page.
Yeah, the western coast of Jaya, where we get this strange man with a bullseye eyepiece and gun, and he's just an interesting, like, you don't see much of him. It's just like, here's the shot is like what this guy did. It's sort of setting up what Jaya is going to be like. It's just like, oh, I wasn't able to kill one of them instantly, but that's fate. Such are the vagaries of life.
Yeah, we'll get to it, but man, the actual like setting of Jaya, the way that Oda is just like, I love the way that he introduces this place.
Oh God, it's so good. It honestly feels like a Wild West town in a lot of ways.
It does.
Even though they like, oh, it looks like a resort.
Yeah. It's like, well, there's a bunch of pirate ships here.
Yeah, that's a little weird. They want to port here in broad daylight, and like they get this screaming out, they'll kill us all. Like, what is happening? What is with this island? And that's when the caption finally tells us, a town on Jaya's western shore, a place beyond the reach of the government where lawless ruffians gather to fight and carouse. This is Mock Town, the town of derision. And
what a name.
Yeah. And also, this is apparently from the log of the Jew Wall. The hell?
Is that a thing?
I don't know. I think know. That's like I'm assuming that's a ship name. But the fact that they're called,
that's odd.
I was like, oh, that's an interesting choice for a name.
Yeah.
And then we meet some more, like we see all these pirates going around. Honestly, it looks like a Pirates of the Caribbean setting.
It really does.
Like, it has to be inspired by that ride in some way. Just all these pirates around, like it's just their thing. We get this like wrestler guy. He finished grappling with this.
He's just straight up unconscious on the floor.
Mm-hmm. And beat up a guy that belongs to the Roshio gang that this wrestler did. And apparently Roshio's a pretty dangerous guy. This guy that's just drinking in the middle of the street says, oh yeah, I saw somebody beat Roshio at cards and he cut the poor guy down where he sat. He's the devil. So it's time to meet this Roshio, where he wins in poker again. Yeah, we find out he has a bounty of 42 million berries. So
yeah, I love that these bounty numbers are going up.
Yeah, we're definitely getting a sense of like the danger of the later Grand Line.
Yeah,
Roshio goes in to take the pot, since he won, and he's like, try again, and he gets stabbed through the hand by this other guy.
The contrast of just like the setting of expectations of like, oh, you don't want to mess with the Roshio. Like, oh, you're in for it now. And then like 2 pages later, you just see him get stabbed in the hand.
Mm-hmm. And he's like pinned to the table. And it's like the other guy is like, you tell the truth. You cheated. It's like, what? I didn't cheat. How dare you accuse me? Nope, you cheated. And everybody's like, no, that looked fair and square to me. It's like, shut up. That's Bellamy the hyena. And he is worth 50 million berries, or more than 50 million berries. Bellamy here calls out to some guy named Sarquis, I believe his name is.
I read it as Sarkis, because I don't know if it's like French.
Oh, it could be Sarkis.
I don't know. Either or. I meant to look that up, but I forgot.
That's all right. We'll go with Sarkis. I like the sound of that better, honestly. But he's like, hey, he cheated this, right? And he's like, he's not even paying attention. He's like, yeah, he was cheating. I saw it too. It's like, how dare, and Roshi has finally had enough. It's like, how dare you? Don't you know who I am? And all of a sudden he gets bashed over the head with a bottle from Bellamy and shot. It looks like shot in the leg too, because he has a smoking gun.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I saw the gun at the end of the previous page, but I'm just like, I wasn't sure, like, where, what? And like, okay, yeah, I see the blood splattering out of his leg, but it was not, the arc of the motion is more emphasized on him getting the bottle broken over his head.
Right.
So I was like, all right, what's going on here? But
I mean,
that's excessive.
That a bit excessive, but it doesn't compare to the fact that Sarkis we went with, right?
Sarkis. Okay, I looked it up. It is Sarkis.
Sarkis. Okay. Sarkis immediately flicks a match at him, sets him on fire as he jumps out of the third floor window. Dear God.
What an introduction to this. And then like you see sort of like the inked out close up of Bellamy laughing. You know, it's like, you know, bounty 55 million. And then just on the next page, Luffy, there's all sorts of characters here.
Zora's like, seems like fun. It's like,
just like, wow, this is a pirate hellhole.
Yeah. A pirate hellhole, but also kind of a pirate paradise, depending on how strong you are. I mean, I love the detail of Nami's, Usopp, and Chopper hiding in the background.
Yeah, it's just like, nope. I love, just like this has to be the sketchiest place we've seen in all of One Piece so far.
Oh yeah, I like comparing it to Logtown, because Logtown was run by the Marines and it was like, you gotta be careful, don't want to make up Smoker mad. And here it is just lawlessness. It does not matter. These pirates will fight and drink and beat the hell out of each other just for the fun of it. So, man, these chapters fly by quick because there's just like,
they really, really do.
There's a lot going on, but it flows so well. I think that's another thing I just really liked about this.
Yeah, the setup is so much faster than I thought it was. That it's just like, man, it really is. Like, I vaguely remember all this stuff, but just like the way it happens is just, it's like, it just goes so quickly from one idea to the next and one scene to the next. It's great.
Yeah, I love it. But let's go ahead and get to chapter 223. I promise never to fight in this town, which that's interesting. And poor Hachi, he gave it to the old man. The old man is very happy, but he got an octo punch in return.
Aw, they couldn't share?
Nope, apparently not. Knowing that, she probably wanted it to herself. Octopaco, not a nice lady.
That's certainly not.
Sorry, Hachi. Maybe next time.
Hey, you did the right thing.
You did the right thing. But into the chapter itself, we get this just almost solemn walk from Luffy and Zoro going in there.
Nami just, calling him out like there's no way those two won't get into trouble. It's just like, at this point,
And she actually goes with him. Is like, all right, well, this that's an going classic trio. I like that.
Yeah. Sanji tries to go, but
and they beg him like, please don't go, defend the ship. And then they're like, wait, where's Robin? It's like, and we actually, to just cut ahead, we still don't know. We have not seen her.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't either.
Just straight up.
We get a page turn, and that's when we get Luffy saying, yes, I promise never to fight in this town. He's like, all right, now keep your promise. Yeah.
I love his little, like, kind of robotic, like, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's like, fine. It's like, look, if you make trouble, we'll have to leave, and then we'll never find a way up to the sky. Got it? It's like, okay, sure. That's probably the best way to get Luffy to do what you want.
Yes.
And then it's time to meet another strange character where this sickly-looking guy falls off his horse and he starts coughing up blood. He's like, hey, can you help me up? And Zora's like, wait, you're not even going to try to do it yourself? And they do it. And he's like, I was born with a weak constitution. All right. Let's go, Strongheart. And then the horse...
I love that the horse is called Strongheart, and then the horse starts coughing up blood.
It's just the same as the old man. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I haven't any money to give you, but, take an apple. And Zora's immediately like, no, they look suspicious. Just go away. And, of course, Luffy being like, ooh, apple.
Just takes a bite. Straight up. And then the building explodes behind them.
Yes. And it's like, oh, well, what happened? This strange guy was giving away apples, and when they took one and ate them, 5 of them exploded. What? The store's wrecked. And that's when the old guy just sort of smirks, and Nami's like, spit it up, spit it up, spit it up.
That's too late. He already swallowed it.
It just reminds me of the SpongeBob episode. I love that quote. It's like, you just had to kill him. The boy by cries you a sweater of tears, and you kill him.
Oh, that's absolutely right.
The boy helps you out onto a horse, and you kill him. Except
I like
not.
that. Yeah, he says that if it had been a bad one, you would have died instantly. So I love just that close up of him calling Luffy a lucky boy as he's sort of like grinning and bleeding out. Like, yeah, I agree with Nami on the next page. Like, what kind of place is this?
But it's also fascinating. Like, I love like little Luffy against fate.
Yeah, there's a lot of I think that page happened for a reason.
Yeah, because it reminds me again a lot of Logtown, where he was like, "Well, I'm gonna die." Just and that's how he treats this. He's like, "You could have been killed." Things like that happen. Well, they shouldn't.
Yeah.
Oh God!
There's so much craziness happening here.
I know, and then of course they see the grappling champion who's like shouting on the top of a building, and immediately Luffy and Zoro are just like, "Oh, they saying he's the strongest, huh?" And he's like, "No, don't you even think about it."
Poor Nami here having to just like, they've been on this island for like 5 minutes, and she's just having to just.
Oh, it's so good. I seriously, this place has to be based on Disney World and Pirates of the Caribbean, because they got they arrive at a tropical hotel. It's like, oh, it's beautiful. Yeah. Vacation villa by the sea. It's like, that makes sense. And then this weird guy that's constantly fidgeting, where he doesn't have a single panel.
Ever shows up again?
I don't think so.
It's just a random guy.
He's just constantly going back and forth. There's only one panel where he only has a single head.
Yeah.
But we find out that the hotel is currently being rented out by Bellamy's crew. And if Bellamy finds him here, there'll be big trouble. It's like, oh, we can't even take a look around. And that's when Sarkis shows up. Yep. This is Big Knife Sarkis, the first mate of the Bellamy pirates with a 38 million berry bounty.
Well, wait, if he's the Big Knife, was that his knife that Bellamy stabbed the other guy with?
I mean, maybe. Could be. And I think there's a great time here we always see the Bellamy pirates surrounded by women.
Yeah.
They're surrounded by women. They have sort of these, I guess, cool clothing is the best way to put it.
They feel like gangsters.
Yeah, young gangsters, like rebels, like bikers and stuff like that. Like these are, it really gives the sense of like young ne'er-do-wells, I guess is the way to put it. Which they are.
Like it's a different vibe of gangster than like Arlong, which felt very sort of like mafia and established, the family.
Same thing with Crocodile. Like yeah. It's I love how he's able to get these various flavors of mafia.
Yeah.
Of course, Sarkis says all this, and Luffy immediately asks, "Can I beat this guy up?"
Yeah. Hey, he asks, that's character development.
That is character development, and
he's trying.
And Sarkis, of course, immediately tries to shame them. It's like, go buy yourself some decent clothes, and tosses money on the floor. And Zoro's up like, death stare from Zoro, death stare from Nami, and Luffy's like, ooh, it's okay.
Yeah, right. So I don't think Luffy will ever understand when he's being talked down to.
No, definitely not. Not in that way, like where it's not like direct.
Yeah. It's just, if somebody is doing a nice gesture out of irony, Luffy is just going to see it as a nice gesture.
Exactly. That's when the rest of the crew calls out to Sarkis and this girl whose name is Lily. We'll never have to remember that, I'm pretty sure. And they show Luffy's wanted poster. It's like, oh, see, they made a name of themselves. But of course, they're ants compared to you and Bellamy, but they managed to rack up a nice little bounty on their heads. But they probably won't make it in this new age of pirates. And I'm like, and this got me thinking, I was like, wait, why are they so casual about this when Luffy has 100 million bounty on their heads? And we'll get to that.
Oh, yeah.
Did you have that thought as well? It's like, wait, why?
I didn't, but now that you brought it up, I'm like, oh, yeah. I forgot.
I'm just like, wait a second. Why are they like, these guys are like, 36 and 50 million, which granted, 55, but granted they're both bigger than Luffy's initial bounty, but it's like,
News travels slowly, okay?
Yeah, and then
they'll get it.
With that page turn, I got my answer. It's like, oh, he's worth 30 million. I'll show this to Bellamy. It's like, there's a there's a lack of.
We've made a huge mistake.
Yeah, knowledge here. Oh boy.
Yeah. Look, there's no internet. They're still working off of like newspapers and stuff. Like, information is just not gonna get around.
Yeah, it's a little slow here.
Yeah.
But they make it to a tavern, and we find out a bit more about Mocktown. It was built on pirate booty, so the pirates are free with their loot. Brawls and killings are commonplace, but the pirates never touch the townsfolk because what good is the money that they steal if they can't spend it?
Which is a good point.
That's kind of brilliant.
Yeah, and I love how densely packed the setting is. Like it really feels like just like a pirate underbelly.
Yeah, you get this sense of being a pirate. It's fascinating and just a lot of fun.
Yeah, in fact, we'll talk about this in like 10 weeks or something. But it reminds me a lot of the opening to movie 4.
Yes.
I'm just like, okay, that's where they got it from. It was from Jaya.
It has to be, yeah. I can promise you all of this. Movie 4 is good.
Yeah. That's hey, the fact that I was like, oh, okay, I made that connection, and it's not like they're just recycling the manga again.
We get its own flavor, but
yeah,
we do get we get that information on what why Mocktown is this way, but we also get information on the log post. They have 4 days before it resets. Nami's like, okay, then we leave in 2. I think that's probably makes sense. And then we get this. Well,
I love this scene.
This strange exchange where we get this guy. It's like Luffy and Zoro and them are all eating and drinking. There's a guy at the end of the table. And we get, at the same time, Luffy and this guy saying, hey, mister, hey, old man, what do you want? This cherry is so bad I could die, says Luffy. This cherry is so good I could die, says the other guy with this goofy grin.
And then they just look at each other.
It's like, huh? Which, very odd for Luffy to say food is bad.
Right.
I feel like these should have been switched, where Luffy's like, they take a swig, it's like, that drink was really good. That drink was really bad. Opposite this time.
Yeah.
And the guy's like,
wow, it's like Twitter.com.
Oh my God, that is so true. I love the bartender's like, I don't care, I'm not the cook.
Right.
And the fight between them is like, what's something wrong with your tongue? Something wrong with your brain? That's the first time I think Luffy's had a good insult.
Right, seriously. And it's just like the true opposites here.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like they're children trying to one up each other this next little bit.
Oh, exactly. It's like, I want 50 packs of meat. Oh, I want 51 cherry pies. And then you just up the number until we get to 100 and they're ready to fight. And
yeah. And
even Zoro, who calls out, what are you fighting about? And Nami's just like, hey, you promised. Also, why are you buying so much meat? We don't have the kind of money right now, so we're not on a shopping spree. And this other guy's like, oh, are you a pirate? That's right. What's your bounty? 30 million.
Oh, so even Luffy doesn't know.
Yeah, that's what I also found. Is like, oh, Luffy doesn't know either because they didn't get a chance to tell him, and they haven't gotten that messenger thing. I guess that doesn't. Yeah. Maybe that doesn't exist in the Grand Line. I don't know. Because that was on the east. No, it was in the Grand Line when they got that. So, whatever. And they're just calling each other like he's like, "There's no way you're worth 30 million. They were a liar." It's like, I'm not a liar. It's true. And they're like, no fighting in here. Here's 50 cherry pies. You can leave. And he heads out, and this guy just notices Bellamy coming in, and we get the Bellamy in these dark shadows.
And that's twice that Bellamy's gotten to end a chapter. Yeah,
they're really setting up Bellamy as this big force. He definitely seems to be the big fish of the island right now.
Shot around here.
And it's Bellamy here to confront Luffy. But we do have another SBS, which I liked also this note that we basically decided on ourselves, but confirmed by Oda. It's like, oh, the crew are hungry and crying for food, but just behind them is a tree full of tangerines, so why don't they just eat those? It's like, yeah, but if they took a bite, it would mean instant death. Definitely certain death.
Yes, of course.
Yes. There's hope to live if you don't eat the tangerines. There is no hope for life if you eat the tangerines. It's goofy, but it's also like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I do. This next one's just a joke. I love just like some question. It's like, Oda Sensei, your phone is ringer, and then he's just like, oh, let it ring. It's just my editor.
That's fantastic. I love that. That is such a manga writer answer.
Whatever. Yeah.
Let's get the 224 as we get this picked up. Do not dream. And poor Hachi. Get this.
I really love this illustration, though.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's just like, it conveys so much, even though you're just looking at the backs, other than, I forget her mermaid's name, but she's just trying to console him.
Yeah. You really get the feeling this one might be wrapping up soon.
It does seem like it. Like, maybe they have to find Hachi's new, like, goal. I think that might be the thing. And
that is for 37 chapters. Is this our longest one so far?
I think so.
Yeah. Man, it doesn't feel like it's dragged or anything. Like, this one's been genuinely fantastic.
Oh yeah, I've enjoyed it just about every step of the way, and I cannot say that for the Kobe and Helmeppo one.
Yeah.
And I think the one with Django probably couldn't have gone any longer.
Yeah.
But we start out the chapter with everybody looking at a destroyed section of the town, basically where Roshio fell out of the window on fire. And everybody's like, what the heck is this? Well, it's Roshio's grave. Like, we can have people die, apparently.
I mean, hey, if you're a minor character taken out by another, I guess sort of more major character, perhaps. I definitely love just because they shout it out on the next page where they're just like, okay, Bellamy probably has a devil fruit.
Yeah.
And I just like as we talked before, like this sort of like, we don't know what it is.
No.
But you see the aftermath of this destruction, and it is sort of like it just gets those questions in your head, like, what happened here and what can he do?
Yeah. I mean, we just see a bunch of holes punctured in just about everything, and it's like, what is that all about?
I love this stuff where it is just that's your hint,
Yeah, there's your hint. Here's your non-shaded spread of Bellamy in all his glory. And I love how Luffy's not impressed. It's like, so you're Straw Hat Luffy. What?
What?
And everybody's talking. It's like, this runt is worth 30 million. And I love Luffy's comment. We've met a lot of big guys today.
Yeah, seriously. It's like, everybody in this town is huge.
Mm-hmm. Bellamy buys Luffy a drink. And that's when Sarkis shows up. It's like, this place is filthy and it stinks. How can you drink in a place like this? And insulting the other pirates and making that. And hey, we get to see the big knife and it's dripping with blood.
Oh, boy. The guy in the middle panel kind of looks like Mr. One. I know it's not, but it looks just enough like him where it was like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's similar enough, but I get what you mean. They force these other pirates onto the ground, knock them out, and we actually get some pirate talk.
Yeah, no, seriously. This place might be the most piratey.
And you know what? It doesn't feel as out of place as it did at the beginning of the manga.
Yeah, it's definitely. I feel like in sort of subtle ways, it's the translation definitely getting kind of used to the setting and the tone of One Piece.
Definitely seems to be the case. I don't know. They just are all sort of watching as Bellamy talks with Luffy, and he's like, "All right, here you go." And they're just this. I think it's Lily. It says Bellamy and his whims, indeed. And Luffy's like, "You're all right, mister." And that's when Nami and Zoro spot what Bellamy intends to do, and he just this feels painful to me because Luffy's drinking at times, smashes his face through the bar table.
It feels kind of really silly that this is sort of like his master plan, but I guess like as far as like dumb ruffian pirates are concerned, it's like, I guess you would just smash your head in while you're taking a swig.
Yeah, it's about the disrespect more than anything else.
Oda sells the impact on that.
Oh
really
yeah,
well.
It looks painful because I'm just imagining the glass shattering too.
The glass shattering, the wood just like breaking apart.
And of course gets Bellamy's crew just laughing it up. Although Bellamy is not laughing for quite as long because Zoro is there.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh man, Zoro's just like, "What's your problem, lowlife?" That's what Bellamy says to Zora, and Zora's just like, "You're the one with a problem, friend."
Oh boy.
And Nami's immediately trying to destroy. It's like, we haven't learned what we need to know yet. And Zora's like, I don't care. He's looking for a fight. I'm going to give it to him. And that Luffy just sort of stands up, and he's like, all right, hope you're ready. So it's like, all right, the big fight's going to happen with Luffy confronting this Bellamy for the first time. He's like, it's not a fight, it's just a test. Show me what you've got. And Nami diffuses it all by shouting out, because she's like, oh, we're not going to get what we need. They're going to fight. I need to stop this. Bartender, we want to go to Sky Island. Can you tell us anything? And just shouts it to the entire tavern. And this gets everybody's attention.
I love how it stops. I love this one guy in the background who's like, he's got his hand to his ear. It's like, what did I just hear? Like, what?
that can't be serious. All right. And they're just like, wait, is she kidding? No, how do we get to Sky Island? And God, this 2-panel spread of them just all laughing at them.
It's just, it's surprising, honestly.
You wouldn't expect it. And I love, we have one guy upside down in the air laughing. I think we got confetti going off at one spot.
Right. Like, what is happening?
It's not even Bellamy. It's like it's Bellamy's crew, but also just every other pirate laughing at them. So this is just a town-wide thing, not buying into it.
I love the sort of there's you say Sky Island, Nami's like, but our log pointing is pointing straight up, and then they pause, and then they laugh again.
Yeah, they break so easily. It's like,
I've never seen Nami so embarrassed. It's kind of adorable.
Oh, yeah, poor thing. That's when Bellamy sort of starts breaking it down. There's no Sky Island. New currents are being discovered on the Grand Line all the time, like the Knock-Up Stream, but you probably didn't even know it existed. Ships like that fall victim to it, or hurled upward, and then come crashing back down to the sea. So long ago, seafarers thought, they must be falling from another world up there in the sky. There's always a scientific explanation for strange phenomena. On its head, it makes sense. But there are 300-year-old artifacts on that ship. That's what he doesn't know.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, Bellamy's just like, you're a disappointment. I was going to see if you had what it takes to join my crew in this new age of pirates, but you're too gullible. And I guess it's the first time we've heard about this new age of pirates, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so, because we've seen other pirate crews, but I guess we're just sort of now seeing what the world is like to them, because we've always seen it from Luffy's perspective of just we're going out for our dreams, we're going out on a big adventure, and this is sort of the actual piratey pirates going nah, man.
Yeah, the age of pirate pipe dreams is over, says Bellamy. El Dorado, the Emerald City, the One Piece. Fools who are blinded by fantasy treasures can't see the riches lying at their feet. So they all just get themselves killed chasing these stupid things.
I love that Luffy's dead silent during this entire speech.
Completely dead silent. This is where we go back to that whole thing, was we never see Luffy's thoughts. And that's when this works so well. It's like he's so straight-faced here that you maybe have a sense of what he's thinking, but you don't fully know. Yeah. And Bellamy's just talking up his big game, and he's just calling these dreamers losers, and he smashes another bottle over Luffy's head because he just goes berserk at the thought of it. And he's like, you give pirates a bad name, and get out of here. And everybody starts throwing their beer and stuff at them all. And they're like, well, time for a show. So Bellamy's like, all right, let's put it on. And this is when Luffy decides himself, after Nami says, hey, beat them up, and Luffy says, no, don't fight them.
They've both had a change of heart.
Yeah, it's an interesting turnaround for that, where they're just like, no,
look, you've mocked his dreams, and I just it really does feel like you have crossed that line for Luffy, but he understands that this is they're not even worth fighting really at this point.
Yeah, they're just to him a bunch of fools that wouldn't understand. So what would beating them up accomplish? Mm-hmm. We have an SBS where, once again, we have somebody asking, hey, if Miss Doublefinger uses spike fruit powers, how come her clothing doesn't rip to pieces? It's sorry, this isn't that kind of manga. And if I were to draw that, I'd put it on the cover. Should I do it?
He's having this existential crisis. Wait, no, I can't do that.
I wonder if Oda is going to get into other types of manga stories once One Piece is finished.
Yeah, I don't. It wouldn't be the first.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I mean, I would just want to retire at that point.
Right, but I guess if he just wants to have some fun and be like, go into his pervy old man phase, I guess there you
All
go.
right, time. He's going to ultra jump now. No time for the kiddos.
Perfect. Oh, gosh. But we do get a little explanation of how to easily draw roses. There you go. Well, let's get to it with chapter 225. End this off.
This is the big one.
My God, I love this.
This chapter is so great.
Oh, they've all been so great.
Yeah.
And here we go. People's dreams. And we get another nice little thing here on the island where Sunset dreaming, remembering a childhood dream to have an octopus fritter cart. And I didn't think about this at first. I didn't notice it at first. Boyhood Hachi is hanging out with boyhood manta ray guy.
It's Karubi?
Karubi, yeah. I don't know if that's the other one's the one that the other guy that was on Arlong's
So they've
crew.
been childhood friends.
It looks like it. They might all be the same, but yeah, I think they were all childhood friends dreaming of being
adorable.
Yeah, who would have guessed to ever see childhood versions of these guys?
Yeah.
They're so cute. Into the chapter itself, and of course, there's laughing going on. Everybody's wondering what the ruckus is, and there's like, oh boy, Bellamy's crew is working somebody over. It's like, oh, he's getting back up. It's like, get that shrimp out of here. And Nami's just begging them, please, clobber them, kick their butts. And Sarkis is just like, they'd rather live in shame than stand up to the big boys. They know they're outclassed. This captain's got no honor. So it's like, oh, handing out 30 million berries for a wimp like this. And she's just like, why aren't you fighting? And yeah, they're bloodied up, but they're still
bloodied
standing.
up, just dead silent the whole time.
Mm-hmm. I like that even Zoro's doing the same. Like, he's like, all right,
Yeah.
Captain, if you say so.
Yep. Like, again, just complete trust in him while Bellamy is just continuing to talk smack.
Yeah, that implicit trust between Zoro and Luffy has been so strong throughout the entire manga.
Yeah, this is a really, really, really good example of it. And just like, Bellamy like spits in their faces and kicks Zoro in the head.
Mm-hmm. And all the while just talking it up, just like, how could he call himself a pirate and all that stuff? And they toss him through tables and into the wall. Actually, no, Luffy into the glass, which looks brutal because you see the blood on the glass.
Yeah, this is maybe some of the worst they've been brutalized.
Yeah, I think so. And we know they can take some punishment. So, I don't know if we're ever worried about them, but just like, we just see them.
It looks like it hurts.
Yeah, I think that's it. And we get to see what type of pirates these guys are. It's like, because Sarkis calls out to Nami, he's like, hey, if you stick with those two, you'll never get anywhere. Why not let me buy you? How much? Telling
that to Nami specifically made me go just like, this guy.
That's not. This dude has no idea. Like, I'm actually surprised that didn't warrant a beating from Luffy, but that was just. And it also says something about those girls that might be with them. But I do love her comeback. It's like, I'm not interested in joining a gang of third-rate bullies, and it makes all like. Kind of makes the girls question themselves while Lily laughs and the other girls are like,
right, like,
yeah. It's like, you think you're special? And they're just sort of laying there. The bartender, I like this little shot of the bartender just being silent as he's watching this.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, pick up your friends, get out while you can, small fry, and don't ever come back. Nami's just holding back tears as she's dragging the two of them out. And then we get this confrontation from the pie guy from before.
Yeah. I love the detail where she's dragging him out, and then the pie guy from earlier, calls out to her, and then you could just barely see she drops Zoro and Luffy.
Yeah, just flops him on the ground. He's like,
it's
like the Sky Island does exist, and then laughs. It's like, this cherry pie really is the best. Why are you so upset? Your friends won that fight. And she's like, what?
This, especially seeing, because you see Luffy sort of flashback to Shanks and Ace. That scene is totally just from, it's the first chapter.
Yeah,
with
gonna be better than us. They're like, it's that scene that finally connected. Like, this is Luffy emulating the bandit in the first chapter with Shanks' encounter with the bandit, where it wasn't worth fighting.
Yeah, exactly. And I love seeing that. I mean, because we all know that that meeting with Shanks completely shaped Luffy as a character, and you're sort of seeing Luffy what effect that scene had on him, by, trying to act the same way, trying to act like his idol, basically.
Yeah. And really succeeding. Because we saw how he wanted to fight the bandits right off the bat. He wanted to get honor back from the bandits. And that's got him this whole situation. So without really even saying anything, that's some good character development.
It really, really is.
But yeah, we got Pie Guy here like complimenting Nami. He's like, your comeback was impressive too. You've got guts. And that's when Luffy and Zoro just sort of stand up without even really worrying about it. It's like, God, I love this character. Just the way he's like standing in the middle is just completely nonchalant. And it's like, this new age of they spoke of is rubbish. The age of pirate dreams is over. People's dreams don't ever end. And this page is fucking beautiful. And it
is one of the best spreads in the whole manga. And it's literally just like a blank background and 4 characters.
Yes. I don't know what it is, but that giant doom and those words with these characters is so freaking good.
It is. It's fantastic. And just like, just getting sort of that affirmation, and just, I don't know, the way that we had this character who was introduced as like the polar opposite of Luffy, and is now just, but has the sort of the same view of dreams and the same view of like the pirate era. I don't know. It's wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, I love it to death. I love how through this entire thing, like he's talking to, and Luffy again doesn't respond.
Yeah.
It's he's like, ain't that right? And they're all wondering like, what's all that noise out there? Like the Bellamy Pirates. And it's like, it isn't easy to be great. Let them laugh. If you're aiming for the top, you don't always need your fist to show your might. And he just laughs.
Man.
Oh.
Yeah. It's so great. And then they don't even, still.
They don't really acknowledge it to him. And it's such it makes him such a fascinating character.
Yeah.
Like you're wondering like, who is this guy?
Yeah, and it's just all he just says, I hope you make it to the Sky Island, and that's like, just sees him off. That's it.
And that's that. Luffy and Zoro walk off, wipe off their blood, and I like this observation from Luffy. It's like, hey, maybe that guy knows how to get to Skypiea, and I wonder who he is. And it's like, well, it's not just one guy, as Luffy says. It's like, and even Zoro says there's more than one, I think.
That's such even now, as somebody caught up with the manga, that is such an interesting line with multiple interpretations that I can't get into what any of those interpretations are, but it is such a like, oh man, just like for that to be how they end that scene is just like, oh man. Even now it could be multiple things that are just, there are both simple explanations and complicated explanations. I went back and looked up maybe some of sort of the discussion about the scene on Reddit and stuff, and it's just like, we still don't quite know. And that's
great.
Brilliant. Like this is just the pure One Piece right here.
Just that Age of Dreams versus the Age of No Dreams, and how Luffy and dreams go hand in hand. That is what he's all about.
Yep.
But we don't end with that. We end with Usopp and Chopper working to repair the poor Going Merry again. Got the plywood, got the nails, got the hammer on the finger.
I don't know. There's something about Chopper helping out, holding that piece of plywood that's just adorable.
Mm-hmm. And he's doing the best he can. And Sanji's like, we should just get a new ship. It's like, no, don't you know what it took to get this ship? Yeah, you've told the story 100 times. Beautiful young girl from your village gave it to you, right? But it's barely seaworthy. That's why I'm fixing it.
I sort of love both the fact that, like, this is a story that Usopp would tell to Sanji 100 times, and the fact that it's true goes to show how much he believes in it.
Mm-hmm.
Of all of the stories all the tall tales that Usopp spins, but the story about how he got the ship, which I'm sure he exaggerates on some level, but I don't know. It really goes to show just from that one line of like how proud he is of it.
Mm-hmm. And man, you get these shots of the Going Merry, and it looks so rough. Like he's doing his best, but man,
I really forgot how roughed up it was by this point.
They do need a carpenter.
Yeah.
And I do like this little bit where he's like, you call this fixing it? It looks jury rigging to me. And he has this weird face where he says, shut up. And Chopper just points out, you look funny. And he's like, oh, I do? Shut up. And he just does the same face again to just make him laugh. Again,
little brother, big brother.
And then they both do it to Sanji. He's like, oh, I guess you don't want any dinner, huh? And then all of a sudden in the distance, they hear a song. Salvage.
Why do I hear boss music?
Yeah. And it's like, oh no, we know who is coming. And that's how we end these chapters.
I love the subtlety, particularly on the last panel where it's like the salvage, like the sound effect is sort of cropped behind Chopper, where it's sort of like emphasizing that it's in the background.
Yes, it is.
It's just like, oh no.
Oh dear, this ain't good.
What a way to end this batch of chapters for this week.
It's so strong. What a fantastic introduction to this new town. What a great set of characters to meet, because it's just strange character after strange character, people with all these different ideals, these massive moments. It feels like that, as you said, still reverberate through the series, all for this idea that they want to go to the Sky Island.
Yeah,
they just want to go on this adventure.
I don't know. I really feel like that scene where they're all laughing and Bellamy's going on and on and on about dreams, blah blah blah. Like, it really feels, even compared to like the big villains that Luffy's fought up to this point, like even they had dreams of their own and they were just sort of in the way of Luffy. And I don't know, like the way we talk about how Oda doesn't kill characters and all that fun stuff, and it's like you. To him, like, having dreams and having your dreams crushed is like, we talked about that in the SBS like a billion years ago, where like having your dreams crushed is as good as dying. And I feel like for Luffy, he sees somebody who like mocks dreams and has no dreams, and it's like, well, you're not even worth talking to anymore.
Yeah, because Luffy is either, I'm going to help you with your dream, or your dream gets in the way of people I care about and I have to end it.
Exactly.
And here's a person with no dreams, no ambitions, just living in the moment, but making fun of everybody in his way. Like, I think if Bellamy just kept to himself, he wouldn't care. Yeah. But the fact that he just does this is like, you are pitiful.
Yeah. I can't even think of like any other major like antagonist character in One Piece. Like they all have, like these sort of like major grand ambitions, or even like small and kind of crappy and petty ones, but like they all have something. And just, it is so unusual to see a character just openly mock the entire concept of the manga, and it is so interesting that it is placed here, and it just it
sort of establishes the thesis of it. It's like, you have to dream, you have to go for your dreams and be willing to do anything for those dreams.
Yeah.
So, good stuff. God, I love Jaya.
Yeah, it's super, super great. One thing before we sign off, I wanted, because I've been having like the anime playing in the background while we've been recording, and the anime's equivalent of chapter 221 has a fun little filler scene where Ace is like hanging out with Buggy and his crew.
Oh, really? I forgot.
Yeah,
I forgot about that one. Jeez.
Yeah, this is like the subtitle of the episode title is like, "Don't mess with the Whitebeard pirates," and I'm like, wait, what? it's like, oh, okay, it's because Ace just they put in a scene where Ace meets Buggy, and I just thought that was funny.
Oh wow! I mean, the anime does like to have Ace in there as much as possible.
Yeah, even when he has nothing to do with anything, they're just like, all right, here's Ace, put him in.
Yeah, but get him in there. It's he's Poochie for the anime. If Ace isn't on scene, we gotta have people talking about Ace.
It's like, where's Ace?
Yeah, where's Ace? All right. Well, with that, I believe we've said all we've wanted to say about chapters 221 to 225 of One Piece. Thank you so much for listening, and you can find more of my ramblings and stream VODs over at BitNerd Games on YouTube, or BitNerd with an underscore at the end on Twitter. And Brandon, where can everyone find you at?
I'm at Brandon Bovia on Twitter, talking about anime, manga, games, and my job. Just sort of the same spiel I gave last week. By the time that people will be listening to this, I think Red Hood will be out, so definitely just go buy that volume of manga. Go buy Dragon Ball Super Volume 17, which features Vegeta losing his eyebrows, finally catching up to Super Saiyan 3.
Nice.
But yeah, that's it, really.
Yeah, definitely check it out. And if you'd like to help us out more, you can support the podcast over at patreon.com/Derek Bittner. That's DERRICKBITNER to listen to the next episode 3 days early. And make sure to return next time as we discuss chapters 226 to 230 of One Piece. Until then, my friends, bye.
Remember to take life one piece at a time.
This new era they keep rambling on and on about is a load of crap. The era when pirates dream of treasure will come to an end? Yeah, right!
What are you talking about?
The dreams of pirates